Nobody really talks about this, but I think everybody knows it, especially if they are on a journey of self improvement. It can be very lonely indeed. You're unlike most people because you have a relentless drive to be better. You're focused on yourself rather than focused on events and external occurrences. Most people are more focused on those things than they're focused on themselves. And so when they see you so focused on yourself, they immediately perceive that as narcissistic or egotistical. Little do they know the struggles that go on within yourself regarding your self worth, your insecurities, your imperfections, your dissatisfactions with yourself that are driving you to try and improve yourself. Usually within the heart of anyone who's relentlessly on self improvement and who's been committed to that course for any significant period of time is a feeling of unworthiness beneath that. A feeling of needing to rectify the insufficiencies within ourselves because they have tormented us so fervently. People can't relate to it, they can't understand because it's an inner process that nobody can see. You can try to talk to people about it, but it's often hard to find the words. You don't have a lot of friends because you can't relate to a lot of people. And also you start to be more careful over who you choose as friends because you know that you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so you know that the people you're spending time with have a big influence on who you are. And so you're always being careful and trying to be precise with who you let into your sphere of influence, which is a wise thing to do, but also it can come at the cost of having friends, having a large social circle, because you can constantly be looking for reasons not to let somebody in. And if you're looking for them, you're probably going to find them. When you become self-sufficient as well, as you continually keep improving yourself, you realize that all you really need is yourself. The only person you really need to rely on is yourself, and that you can be fully there for yourself. And you don't really need anybody else. You can become so independent that you lose the desire to really have anyone in your life. You know that betrayal only comes from your friends, and so you're very wary of letting people become your friends. The approach I'm trying to take to it is, if I find like-minded individuals, people who I genuinely respect and admire and would like to be like and see positive attributes in, then I will befriend those people. Of course I will. And it doesn't mean that I'm not friends with anyone and I'm really closed off to everyone. Rather, I'm actually very friendly with most people because I like to, as I said, treat people as I would like to be treated. And I think that in some sense, we're all friends of each other. But close friends, actual friends, there's 2 types of friends, right? The friends that you see on the street and you're like, hey, how are you? And the friends that you tell your deepest and darkest secrets and thoughts. And those friends have to be friends that you really connect with, really value, and really appreciate and respect. When you become self-sufficient as well, you don't lower your standards just for the comfort of having friends, because you realize that it's not worth it. You realize that you can be alone and still thrive. And self-sufficiency introduces you to the power of solitude. And so you don't fear it anymore. Rather, you embrace it. And so if you are embracing it, you're going to be less likely to seek to escape it, as many people do. When they are alone, they are tormented by themselves because they have so many unresolved things going on within themselves. They have self-respect issues because they don't do what they said they were going to do. They have self-worth issues because they're not working on themselves and trying to be better. They're tormented by things outside their control because they have no philosophy to dial them in on what's important. You have that when you're on self-improvement. So not only does it make you unrelatable, it makes you self-sufficient. It can also make you indifferent. Indifference can be good in some situations, but it can also be bad in others. People also think just because you want to be better, you're constantly looking down on other people. And that may also come from you setting high expectations for the people that you want in your life. So you're looking for reasons not to make people your friends, not to let people in. You're looking for the bad in people, but that's just being realistic, I think. You're looking for danger. Like I said, we have a negativity bias. And so with this negativity bias, we're always on alert. We're being careful with who we let in, which is important, but a lot of people see that as overly protective, as narcissistic as well, because they're like, who do you think you are to set those standards for yourself? And it's like, it doesn't matter who I think I am. What is it up to you? What standards I set for myself? Focus on the standards you set for yourself, you know? But a lot of people don't do that, and that's okay. You have to leave their business to them, leave their perceptions and judgments of you to them. That's not your problem, that's their problem. Someone hates me, that's his problem, not my problem. The thing is, as well, is you spend so much time working on yourself, trying to improve yourself, trying to be a better version of yourself, that you spend a lot of time on yourself, which can also come off as narcissistic and egotistical, as overly self-important and self-indulgent. But what they don't see is, like I said, the dissatisfaction that is really behind that. And like how you are so, I truly think the people on self-improvement are some of the most critical of themselves people. They're people who are so, and have been so focused on the negative parts of themselves that it's forced them to have this unrelenting desire to improve. They don't see that. They just see the desire to improve. They don't see where it stems from, for this lack of worth and this feeling of inadequacy they feel within themselves that's often been drilled into them, whether it's through life or whether it's through, you know, early childhood experiences, whatever it is. They don't see why you have that desire. You rarely have time for other people. And when you do make time for other people, you can feel bad because you know there could be, and there are, other more productive things you could be doing for yourself than spending time with this person. But like I said, it's about striking a balance. If you become too obsessive on either side, you're going to pay the price and it's not going to end very well. But like Aristotle hypothesized and conceptualized, the golden mean is so important. Too much of anything is bad, too little of anything is bad. It's about striking a balance in life. So that's just some of the reasons why self-improvement can be very lonely. And I'm sure if you're someone on self-improvement, you can resonate with this message. But don't let that discourage you from wanting to be a better version of yourself, because as you become a better version of yourself, you make the world better, because you are a part of the world, and so you are improving a part of the world, however small it may be. And that will have infinitely positive impacts on the things that are around you and the people that are around you as well, no matter how few of them there may be. And you will find your people if you stick the course. I'm saying that with no evidence, but I've heard stories, and the logical conclusion is that you will find your people. It just takes time, but it's worth it. It's worth the wait. And so stick the course, keep improving, keep being a better version of yourself, and you will reap the rewards later on. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.